Texas boxing scene is here with Fort Wirth Zone. I love having another funky town native here. Kendrick Releford, welcome to the show.
Appreciate it, man.
Great having you on. Thank you for everything you're doing for Fort Wirth Boxing.
Yes, sir.
Everyone, Dallas Boxing. We got to represent for Fort Worth, and I really appreciate everything you're doing.
Yes, sir.
First off, tell me what you got going on this weekend, and then February 11th.
Okay,
Right?
so we have a 80s throwback amateur event going on at O.D. Wide High School that I'm presenting with Dream Performance Boxing, which is my boxing and fitness gym, and then REMG Talent, which is my management company for the pros. So what I'm starting to do is more events. Like you said, building boxing back up, man. Rebuilding the boxing scene like it was in the 80s or even better, So that's always been my goal. So we have that boxing event this weekend for the amateurs, and then February 11th at the Southern Junction in Irving, we have Made Man Promotions going on. Their first show here in the DFW area. So, man, boxing is taking off.
And Fort Worth is a great place. We've always had good fighters in Fort Worth. Now we're starting to have a resurgence, and it all starts with the amateurs, right? Because that's where it all begins. So come out, support the amateurs. Is there anyone we should keep an eye on? And anyone who looks really good at the amateur level? Anyone you're working with?
So the hard part is keeping an eye on the amateurs because it's hard for them to make a name, especially here at the local level. So until they start getting to the nationals, it's kind of hard, So we do have a few, but instead of the names, I always say the gym. So we have FHG, Faith, Hope, and Gloves, Dream Performance, Reyes Boxing Club, Paulie's Gym, University of Hard Knocks, we have quite a few talented gyms, that's producing good fighters. Before I get into that, man, let me do a 10 count for my man Joe Guzman that was killed just yesterday. So he was normally the head coach at the Golden Gloves Youth Center, man. So he passed away yesterday. So much respect to him. If you've been around any part of boxing since the 90s, the early 90s, Joe Guzman. So rest in peace to him. But back to the subject, though, man. Fort Worth boxing is on the rise, and that's the goal.
And we're in good hands, and there's no better hands to have Fort Worth boxing than you, a Fort Worthian, right? Someone who had a pretty good professional career, really good professional career, actually. I want to talk to those who don't know your background. You were heavyweight, and early 2000s, mid 2010s, like that. You've been in there with everyone: Malik Scott, King Kong Ortiz. You got to win. I'm going to butcher the name. The Cuban Alicia Castillo. Right?
Yeah.
DeVarra Williamson twice, I think.
Yes. Malik Scott twice. DeVarra Williamson once. Yeah.
Once. Okay. So talk a little about your professional career, some of the fights you had, and just talk a little bit about your professional career and your background.
Okay. So for the people that don't know, Kendrick Releford, I come from a boxing family. My family was big in the 80s. Right there with the Currys. My dad and uncle were his main sparring partners, and I grew up in the gym. So eventually I won Golden Gloves from 92 on and off and on to 01. Then I turned pro in 01. By the time 04 came, I was ranked in the top 15 in the world as a heavyweight, and I ranked also as a cruiserweight. So cruiserweight and heavyweight were my divisions. 40 professional fights. So I did all right for myself. And here I am now, former, WBO Latin America champion, USBA champion, Texas title champion, and NBA champion. So I did all right for myself.
Not bad at all. It's an honor to have you, part of the Fort Worth boxing community still. I will just ask you, you've been in the ring, like we gave some of the names you've been in with. Best fighter you've ever been in with?
You said the best fighter?
Best fighter, yeah.
I'll do this. I'll tell you this. The most skilled fighter was truly Malik Scott. That's the funny part. And it was almost like kind of fighting myself.
Yeah.
The only thing he's taller than me by an inch or two. But most skilled was him. Alexander Dimitrenko is probably one of the most hardest hitting. And then I also fought a guy, Mika Jurgen, in California for the California State Championship. So I should have had the California Professional State Championship and the Texas Championship. But of course, they're not giving that to a Texan.
They took it from you? They stole it from you? They
No. I won the fight, but they didn't give me the belt.
Oh, okay. All right. And then the other question, best moment in the ring, professional amateur, what would you say your best moment in the ring was?
Best moment in the ring, man, that's a good one. Probably winning the USBA belt as a professional, and then of course winning my first state Golden Glove championship. Those would be my two best. I know you asked for one, but the reason the USBA belt is so important to me because all the greats had it. When the USBA belt truly meant something, I was able to win it. You know what I mean? And that's what got me ranked in the IBF. So I think winning that 12 rounds.
So as a heavyweight, right?
Yes, sir.
You got 220, 230 pound. What's it like? I mean, how do you prepare yourself for 12 rounds? I mean, little guys, it's tough enough. Welterweights, lightweights. I mean, going 12 rounds is tough. When you got, a guy 230 pounds leaning on you, pushing on you, how do you kind of get yourself ready to say, okay, we're going to go 12, right? Is that the only time you went 12? Or
So I fought 12 twice.
Twice?
Yes, sir.
What's the mental preparation, knowing that you're going to have this other monsters, offensive lineman, leaning on you for 36 minutes?
The good thing is I've always worked with smaller guys. So I've always had that chip on my shoulder trying to prove a point to them that I can hang with them even as a heavyweight. So that mental aspect right there kind of gave me a cheat code with the bigger guys. So it's like if I can outwork these smaller guys, I know I'm going to outwork the larger guys. As long as I'm faster, I was moving, my feet work was better. So that helped me a lot.
And worked for you. You had a good career, 22 wins, right?
Yes, sir.
So good career. Especially locally here, we don't get a lot of heavyweights in this area. So it's good to have, we get a lot of smaller guys, but we don't get too many heavyweights. So you were like Fort Wirth heavyweight. So
yes, sir.
2012 was your last professional fight. How did you know it was time to hang it up? And did you know at that time you had to stay within boxing? I got to stay in the sport.
So what made me hang it up was my fights kept falling through. I would hold training camp. My last training camp was in Atlantic City. I was up there for 3 months. 3 fights fell through. The last one, the guy, of course, pulled out of my fight to go fight David Hay. Hey, man, you making a high 6 figures. I'd have pulled out too. You know what I mean? So even coming back home, trying to get on some local shows, and those fights would fall through. So at that time, my wife lost her job, and it's like, okay, I got to start thinking of life after boxing. And I've always known, I was going to be coaching and managing and developing because I was helping my dad while I was fighting. So I was kind of getting my feet wet at that time.
And, you've stayed involved in boxing. That's what I want to get to next. This big card, February 11th, Southern Junction, which is a great venue. It's in Irving. It's a great venue to watch a fight.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about the main event, because the main event is really interesting. Tell us about the main event and how you went about making that fight. It's 2 Fort Wirth guys, right? So
yes,
I'm pumped for it, but tell us a little bit about
okay, so we have Joel, of course, from FHG, and then we have Emmanuel Tennyson from my gym. So we have a great history with each other. The key thing is how do we get Ben, a great Fort Worth addition, and Emmanuel, yes, on the same card for the Texas title belt. So when I was fighting, the Texas title belt meant something, and it hasn't been around. It hadn't been mentioned. So I said, hey, man, what better time, what better people to bring that belt back, bring some relevance back for that title. So being in the Emmanuel agreed to fight, Texas title belt on the line, man, Fort Worth. Two different sides of the community, but hey, one will have to stay local, one get to move ahead.
Either way, the Texas champ's going to be a Fort Worth guy. So
yes, sir.
I love it. And both guys jumped. I'm sure both guys know each other. Same weight class.
They know each other very well. They've sparred plenty of times. So this is going to be a great fight. It's going to be a great fight. It's early. Most people like, well, man, it's kind of too early for a fight like that in their career. But at the same time, it's like you have to have these type of fights in order to move to the next level.
Yeah.
So it's a step up fight for both of them.
And it's a good fight.
Yes,
you
sir.
look at it. Tennyson's been out but it's an even fight. Like and they know each other well. So I mean, and if you watch Ben fight, Ben doesn't hold back. Ben's going to go right in there and start throwing bombs. So it's going to be.
Sir. Emmanuel is on a 3-fight win streak. He started slow. We knew, had personal issues, different things like that. But he's on a 3-fight win streak. 6 fights, 1 year. Now he's already fighting for a Texas title belt. So thankful for his coach and his management.
And again, Southern Junction, February 11th. That's a fight you don't want to miss. But there's also a really, really good undercard with lots of Fort Worth fights. Like the whole card is dedicated to Fort Worth fighters. We got a fighter another FHG guy, Joel Martinez, 6 foot tall featherweight, long rangy, good amateur career. Tell us a little about Joel Martinez.
So Joel, we got, again, another kid we have good history with. And so he'll be fighting Xavier Jackson, who's actually getting back in the ring, hadn't fought in a few years, a Dallas native. So it's quite a few Dallas versus Fort Worth type of situations going on. But Joel, man, one of the great, Fort Worth fighters, a lot of amateur background, and taking it to the pros. So don't miss it. That's for certain. Y'all be there February 11th.
Madman Promotion is who you're working with to put that out there.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yep.
Couple other fighters. Where can they get tickets? Where can everyone get tickets?
Go to mademanpromotions.com. Mademan Promotions.
Also on the card, another undefeated Fort Worth guy, Gary Hampton. Another good fighter.
Another good fighter, heavy hitter, smart, very athletic. So I don't know his opponent just yet, but don't miss it because he is a crowd pleaser. This whole card is full of crowd pleasers.
No, this card. Do you do the matchmaking? Who?
No, so I actually helped match my guys, and then Angelo did the other guys. So I just help when I can. That's my thing, is being able to give my knowledge, spread my knowledge as much as I can. Speaking with the commission one year, because I'm getting into the promoting as well. And I asked him, hey, man, what is the biggest thing that makes promoters fail? And his thing was they don't work together. So my thing is, hey, I have the abundance mentality. How can I work with everybody?
And we're putting that together. Like you said, this is a great show. And there's one more fighter who you know well, who's making his pro debut.
Sammy Brown.
Sammy the Cobra Brown.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about Sammy the Cobra Brown. Tell us about his development as an amateur and what we can expect from him on February 11th.
Sammy is your 2022 regional and state Golden Glove champion. I've been training Sam. That's like my son now. So I got a 21-year-old son. But he has developed very well. And his time is now to make a move. And we ready.
So like you said, he's 21. What made him say, okay, good amateur career, obviously, good amateur. What made him say, okay, now is the time. Now I'm ready to turn pro.
He ready to start making money.
There you go. There you go. So describe his style a little bit in the ring and talk about his match arrays. Like, how would you describe the Cobra in the ring?
Okay, real quick. I'm walking because my phone finna go dead. So I'm walk to the car real quick. Hold on 1 second. My bad, y'all.
Oh, good.
Okay. So with Sam, he's actually a good boxer puncher. The next generation of the Lone Star Cobra, Donald Curry.
Is that where he got his nickname from? Oh, I lost you here. That's Sammy Brown, Sammy the Cobra Brown. Kendrick, did I lose you? Oh, that's not great.
Hello?
I got you. You're back. Oh, good.
Okay, sorry about that. So,
you froze up
Sam,
just a second.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You just froze up for a quick second.
Okay, got you. So Sam is actually a good boxer puncher. Great jab, great defense, good instincts. He truly has a bright future. There's so much I can say about him, to be honest, but I want to keep something for the surprise.
You gotta pay admission.
You gotta pay to see the rest.
Well, we'll leave that at that then, right? I want to talk to you, and that's again. I want to ask you, Southern Junction, great venue for a local fight. When are we gonna bring a fight? You got all these Fort Worth fighters. I'm from Fort Worth. You're from, when are we gonna put a fight in Fort Worth?
That's what we're working on now. So we know for certain July 8th. July 8th gonna be a crazy day, but we also have looking in April, and then back again in June in Fort Worth.
So you got April and June in Fort Worth.
April, June, and July. Yes, sir.
So you guys are going to stay busy. You're going to keep these Fort Worth fighters busy. You're going to keep them active, which is
consistency. Yes, sir. So we Made Man Promotions, man. He's looking to really make a mark and help in building the boxing community.
Now, Made Man is from out of state, right?
Come from Iowa.
Yes, so how do you get involved with Texas and Fort Worth in particular?
So he truly just moved here a few years ago.
Okay.
Former football player, former fighter himself, Angelo Mondone. Like I say, he come here a few years ago doing MMA. So that's what they known for up north.
Okay. Yeah,
MMA, and now he's scratching the surface in the boxing. And so he saw Emmanuel sparring at a gym one day, and things just went from there. So I don't have a partnership with them or anything like that, but I'm just here willing and ready to help.
Okay, sounds good. Now I want to ask you a little bit about Fort Worth boxing, right? Like Curry, we've had some great fighters. We got some good fighters right now.
Yes, sir.
Eddie Vasquez just signed a fight. Showtime Showbox Series will be February 17th.
February 11th, I think.
It's
or 7th, something like that. Yeah.
Marcel Lopez, what do you think about Eddie Vasquez? I said about 4 years ago that kid's the next world champ from Fort Worth. Yeah. What do you think about Eddie Vasquez and his progression?
So I've been knowing and watching Eddie since he began. I've always admired the student in Eddie. You get what I'm saying? So when people speak of a gym rat, a hard worker, a dude that studies, knows the game, that's Eddie Vasquez.
He's a gym rat. He's got a really, really good boxing IQ.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot to Eddie. He can box, he can bang, he can cut the ring off, and there's a lot to like about Eddie.
Yes, sir.
Marcel Lopez is a good opponent. How far away do you think Eddie is? Do you think he can be fighting for a world championship by the end of next year, or when do you think Eddie's going to be?
What is he, 13? Yeah, he's very close, working his way through the rankings. 13 fights. I think maybe another year, if that. Being ranked in the top 10 has to be the goal by the end of the year. If he's not, I truly believe he will be. I believe he's knocking on the door of a world championship.
He's getting close. He's getting real.
Yes, sir.
He got robbed with that Raymond Ford fight, and that would have really helped him. But
yeah.
I was at that fight in Arizona, and Eddie Hearn promotes Raymond Ford, and Eddie Hearn said, "I got to go tell my fighter, Raymond Ford."
They gave him a gift.
Yeah, they gave him a gift.
Yeah. No, man, Eddie, and I'm big on, hey, no matter what, support him, support. He from Fort Worth. No matter, I don't care what gym he from Fort Worth at the end of the day.
And he's doing Fort Worth proud.
Yes, sir.
He's getting there. Another fighter we all love from Fort Worth, Tony Lopez, came up short with Bruce Carrington on ESPN, but he counted well for himself, and he always does. I mean, what do you think about the Fort Worth Wolf, Tony Lopez?
Man, I can't say nothing wrong with him, man. I remember him when he was standing up in the chair to hit the speed bag. So you'll never hear me say anything wrong about Tony. That's my guy right there. So I love what he's doing. He's staying active. It's just that point of his career right now. And, hey, he's staying active and still giving these younger guys the run for their money.
He really does. I mean, he's come up short. He's got some good wins. He got a win at Cowboy Stadium on the Errol Spence card. He's got good wins. But he's never an easy opponent. He's never, ever an easy opponent. He just fought Henry Arredondo from San Antonio, but they wanted Henry to win to kind of rebuild him. And Tony fought him to a draw on 3 days' notice, right? So Tony's that guy.
Yes, sir.
his record doesn't indicate how good he actually is.
So, and with exactly what you just said, that's why I tell my guys, everybody be so caught up on the A side, B side things. Oh, let me build up on this guy. Let me build up. Listen, wins only, the numbers and things like that are only numbers. Once you start doing research on certain things, you realize, okay, I better stay away from that guy. And Tony truly is that guy. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, if you beat Tony, you should be moving on to the next level. If you can't beat him, sit your butt down somewhere, because one thing I am super proud of, that there's no quit in him. He's good to go.
No, he's got that Mexican heart. He really does.
Yeah,
He'll
for
keep
sure.
coming at you. And then obviously John Vera got close to a world title, real close. He's been inactive, you know, over the last couple of years, but you know, another great fighter from Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Where do you see the boxing scene in Fort Worth going? I mean, he's got a bunch of good fighters. Where do you see the future of Fort Worth boxing?
Building. It's only up, man. Just out of, and of course I'm biased, but Dream Performance, REMG Talent, we have Alexis Moniz, 2-time National Golden Glove champion, Emmanuel, Sam, Xavier, Jake Reynolds. He'll be making his pro debut coming in. So we have a good stable of fighters that we're going to put Fort Worth boxing scene on our back and take off.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear, because I'm tired of, you know, Dallas having all these fighters, San Antonio having all, Fort Worth. We got good fighters here. We just need to build them up a little bit.
The exposure, yes, sir.
That's exactly what
there's no reason, and I'm thankful for Golden Boy being here. But to me, I hate the fact that we have Golden Boy cards here and there's never a Fort Worth fighter on it.
Yeah, there's Dallas fighters on it.
There's Dallas fighters on it, but never Fort Worth right here in our city.
And again, we're looking forward to seeing everything you guys do with Fort Worth fighters and Fort Worth boxing. Looking forward to having you in Irving and then back in Fort Worth in April, June, and July. I'm really looking forward to that as a Fort Worth guy.
Yes, sir.
Tell everyone again where they can get tickets and the amateur event. Can you get tickets for that? Is that something you just walk up to the door and get? Or
no, you could go on Eventbrite. If you look at on my REMG Talent IG page, Eventbrite, my Dream Performance, Kendrick Releford, you can go on there and get it. Or just show up at the door Saturday at 1 p.m. Then for the pros is Made Men Promotions.
And that is February 17th, Made Men Promotions.
February 11th.
I'm sorry, what's February?
No, you're good.
February 11th. Yeah,
yes,
February 11th at Southern Junction, Made Men Promotions. Tennyson and Gourmet in the main event, which is going to be a fire. Was it 6 or 8? Is it 6?
6 rounds.
6 rounds.
Yes, sir.
For the Texas State title.
Yes, sir.
All right, Kendrick, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate it.
Please tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
Kendrick Releford, or what is it? Kendrick Releford. At the end of the day, you can always Google Facebook, anything like that, and then my REMG Talent page on IG.
All right. God bless, and thank you for your time. I'm looking forward to seeing your events.
Appreciate it, Gary.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.